Clint. I'm sorry, Clint.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Clint.
That was terrible.
Please don't edit that out, by the way, because I just want him to watch that.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that was awful. That was so terrible. Please edit that out.
As of right now, I currently am a team leader with DVG Realty Group at kwElite, and we have 10 agents on our team. We primarily focus on investment real estate, and I've been with that group for a little over 5 years. I am a small partner with that firm, and my business partner is Jerry Schlickburn, which is a very successful real estate investor in the Omaha area. I also have recently purchased the local RIA. So I am my wife and I are the local owners for Omaha RIA, and we took over a year ago this month. And that has been a fun ride. It was definitely an interesting purchase during the pandemic, but we took over a year ago, and this group has been around for 17 years. I believe we had about 72 members at the time of taking over, and I need to do a final count, but I think right now we're about 190 members. Wow. So growth is definitely blown up. We are currently seeking other satellite locations. So yeah, and talk about that. So we do have a partner that's getting started out of North Platte, and so do our Western location. We are in talks about doing a Lincoln location. Okay. And I am looking currently for somebody in the Columbus area.
That is crazy.
And
how ironic.
Yeah, so that has been a fun side of the business. It got to meet investors, and what that has done for me locally. I mean, I couldn't spend in 10 years of marketing, spending $20,000 a year. I couldn't do what that has done for me in this short amount of time. So
I believe it.
It's been a very positive impact for myself and my family. So it's been very good. I also do some real estate investing. So I don't have a ton of doors, but I do have 7 doors currently. And my goal is to always have something going and eventually get to a net 20K, so I can just slow down a little bit.
So we actually were in contact before you even joined kwElite, right? So we actually had a transaction together. You were with DVG. I don't know what company were you with at that time?
We were independent.
Oh, you were independent. Okay. So I remember, I brought the buyer for one of your listings. Yep. It actually was my in-laws, my father-in-law and his wife is who bought the property. And then just within weeks of that transaction closing, I think is when you guys joined kwElite. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. We joined kwElite a little over a year ago. And the reason was that we just wanted to take advantage of all the training opportunities that they offered. Jeff, I've been acquainted with Jeff Cohn through a charity that I'm a partner in called Dancing with the Omaha Stars. and so that's my first connection with Jeff. And so I've always kind of kept tabs on what he was doing. And every time we did a transaction with him, I got a handwritten letter. So he was always in our forefront of our mind saying, hey, we'd love to talk to you about becoming over here an agent. So awesome. After a while, we finally interviewed and decided to make that change. But that project where you guys bought that property was actually a fun one for us. We found that package about 6 to 7 months before that. And It was 30 townhouses, actually 15 duplexes that we separated into townhouses. It was only plotted as one plot, got them separately plotted. And we did that through our Dream Investing Capital Group, which is a fund that we have over 20 investors that put their money into. Mm-hmm. And we're able to flip all 30 of those properties within less than a year. We have a project manager, Ray, that was just amazing on that project through our Schlick Construction Company. Yeah. And so we sold 8 of them. And then Jerry actually had an opportunity to buy all the properties, the remaining 22. So she took over the final 22 and was able to cash out of them and hold them. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
That package was a massive success.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great to hear. So going back to the REIA, the RIA in Omaha, I know. So you've obviously we've been kind of talking about getting one started here in Columbus, and it's definitely something that I'm very interested in. And I know I would have a great mentor to help me through that entire process. You've obviously grown substantially. Your most recent was it Clint? I'm sorry, Clint.
Yep, Clint.
That's terrible.
Please don't edit that out, by the way, because I just want him to watch that.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that was awful. That was so terrible. Please edit that out. Please do. But you guys, how many did you have when Clint was speaking? How many people did you have show up?
So that was to my knowledge, that was an all-time record attendance. We documented it as 110, but I believe between in and out, we had about 120 people all together in and out. But when we did our head count at that specific time, we were just over 110 people. And so, when we bought it during the pandemic, we were hitting like 20 people because we've been going we've been going all the way through. So since I took over, we started live. So June, we were live all the way through the pandemic, and we decided to live broadcast the event on our Facebook RIA page. That way people still have the opportunity to see it during that time, which could be a part of the reason that the growth has been so substantial, because we were never live broadcasting it. Yeah. So, the content's good. I think that's something we will probably continue to do. I know that, in the past, they're really concerned about losing people because they could just watch online. But I think that you go to the RIAs to make those personal connections and handshakes. Yeah. And I know when Clint and Owen Dashner were doing their presentation last time, Clint's like, well, heck, last time I was here, I bought a deal at the table. And so, for that $75 a year membership that we charge, those connections that you make are invaluable. And if you're an active member, you're going to get deals. I've been a member of the RIA and the BOPOA and MOBA groups, and I can't tell you, I can't tell you, probably about 75% of my client list is all from those meetups.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So I guess what would you suggest to somebody who maybe is kind of doing a few transactions here and there, or somebody who is thinking about getting into real estate or investing? Because when I have a project coming up, and when I posted it, I had somebody say, I've actually had a lot of people state, I drive by that every day. I would have loved to have done something with it. I've thought about it, so many people think about it, but nobody takes the action. So I guess what would your first recommendation be to those people?
Well, I absolutely love working with brand new investors, and it's all about finding their comfort zone first. So you got to see what their vision is, because I find that every time you work with somebody new, they have a different feel of what investing is. Maybe it's multifamilies, maybe it's single families, maybe they don't feel comfortable in a specific part of the city, so you really need to find what their comfort zone is, and then also dig into why they're not comfortable with whatever the other area is. And I work with enough people that I find that, there's people that have the reasons for only working in West Omaha, North Omaha, and South Omaha. And then as a company, we've done over 400 flips in the last 5 years. So, we have really found what has worked for us too. So I like to give those examples too when I work with new people, and really keep on asking why until you really get the root answer. I was listening to a podcast recently, and they said you should ask why 5 times to really get the true answer. And I find I thought that was great knowledge, because typically as real estate agents, they just order takers, and they're not really getting in depth to figure out what the true reason is why somebody wants to buy in a specific street or live in a specific neighborhood. Yeah. And when I work with clients, I try to always explain how we break down a pro forma, what's important to them, how much money they need to make to feel comfortable, and how much money they can spend to feel comfortable, but also putting the right team members around. So in our company, we advertise ourselves as a one-stop shop for real estate investors. So I'm a partner with DBG Realty Group, but we have Orange Property Management, Schlick Construction, Solid Roofing and Windows, Dream Investing Capital Group, And, we are one stop for any investor who wants to work with us. So they can use all of our sources or none of our sources. But it makes it really simple, when you're working with somebody, like, hey, here's our construction bid. So now you know how much construction costs. It's not a guess. Yeah. I know that personally with my background, I can get within about 10 to 15%. Now with all the costs being so crazy, I can't say that. Yeah. But I can get pretty close on a rehab estimate. I have my method for analyzing rents. So I look at the Zillow rents. I look at Rent-A-Meter. I take my own number, and then for a final analysis, I'll ask our property management manager, Austin. And I take all four and I average them, and that's how I come up with my rent number. So, and then my pro forma is to finalize that. Our costs are probably about 7% higher than the average pro forma. Plus, we're putting the cost that property management is going to charge you for the rental management, placement, CapEx. We're figuring all that. We're not hiding the numbers because I want to be the hero and not the person that gets cursed at afterwards.
Yes.
So we try to be overly honest and over the top with expenses. And by doing so, we were able to create an experience where people can feel comfortable making that first purchase. And it's all about getting that first one done, as you just stated. So if we get them to make that first transaction and get it done, it tends to flow really well.
Yeah. I always tell people, get very comfortable being uncomfortable when it comes to real estate and investing, because it is awkward. And it's really taking that first initial step and getting educated too, like you said, going to these meetups, talking to other people who have invested or who are investing to kind of get that better education and that better mindset to be able to take that leap and move forward. So I find that very interesting that you're kind of saying the same thing. And going back to asking yourself why 5 different times. It's really interesting because when I got into real estate, they always say, what is your why? And in reality, I don't know. Do I just make something up just to say it? I have no idea. But like you said, you have to ask yourself why 5 times, because a lot of times people are like, oh, I want financial freedom, or I want this and I want that. That's kind of the same cliche. I mean, that's truly what we do want, but why? Why do you want that financial freedom? And just keep asking yourself that. And it may kind of change over time, or it might just kind of adjust as time goes on. So I like the fact that you have to ask yourself why 5 times to dig a little deeper, because sometimes we don't know why.
Now, how long did it take for you to find your why?
I'm still working on it.
But I know you got your why figured out, don't you?
I do. I would say I do for the most part. And I have a vision of where I want to go. And I'm not going to stop until I get there. Writing things down right next to me. I have my goals for 2021. So I see them every day. I'm looking at them every day. Because when you have something written down, you're more likely to reach those goals. So I had goals for 2020. I reached all of them. I have goals for 2021. I'm definitely on that track. So it's really important to write down all of your goals and then really figure out what your true why is. And I love helping people and educating people and encouraging them to get involved with other realms that, like investing and stuff. So I'd love to bring something like that to Columbus and open people's mind a little bit more, because here in Columbus, it's a little bit of a tougher market, I feel, because everybody kind of knows everybody and everybody doesn't really want to share their ideas. But in reality, it's a benefit for everybody. You can kind of bounce ideas off of each other. You can work together. You can maybe do a deal together. There's just so much more opportunity when you come together versus trying to keep everybody away and separate. So that's really what I want to do. And I that's why I've been kind of dragging my feet. I'm like, ugh. So that's just
stop dragging your feet.
I know. I didn't. I scheduled it. I have it scheduled. So I have something scheduled, and I will continue to go from there, and we'll grow and we'll combine forces and take it to another level.
I love it.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ted, for being here with me today and taking time out of your very busy schedule, obviously. So I appreciate it very much, and you have a wonderful day.
Yeah. Hope to see you at one of our meetups.